Learn how one woman with diabetes had neuropathy pain in her feet go away and her blood sugars come into a more healthy range. In 10 months, one woman got off Prozac after taking this one supplement. In 2 months on this same supplement, one boy's chronic constipation went away and his speech problem cleared up for the first time in his life. Learn how this one supplement is creating a multitude of unique and inspiring stories that can be heard on this free recorded message at 866-844-1047. That's 866-844-1047.
I am a Easter Bunny jet pilot from the planet Uranus.
That's right. I am a Easter Bunny jet pilot. And guess what? Welcome. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Susanna Cole, good morning.
Good morning, Pete Santilli. How are you this morning?
Good. It is now,
Good.
guess what day it is?
What day is it?
It's 2/22.
It's 2/22.
2/22 and
2/22/2014.
that's right. And we're just using numerology as a method of mind control. On 2/22, you have to place 2 feet on the ground, 2 hands up in the air, point towards Mecca. Let's do some weird stuff and send the energy back to where it came from. What do you think?
Yeah,
We'll blame it on the Muslims.
that's right.
I'm just
Blame it
kidding.
on the brown people.
The brown people in the desert, right?
Right.
Who fly planes into the World Trade Center. Just kidding. All right, so today this is what we have in store. We are actually on our normal schedule here. The open of the show. Normally we take this 6-minute block and get everything situated. And I want to welcome each and every one of you if you're tuned in to this mind control marathon. It's going to be a 6-hour. Actually, you know what I was thinking about? Because we have such a great lineup, great schedule, and we want to make sure that we reserve a lot of time for people who want to call in. We especially want to speak to you. You know what? I especially want to speak to you if in the middle of this mind control marathon, if you believe that you may be a targeted individual based on the stuff that you're hearing. I want to introduce you to a group of people. We call them the TIs. They are the individuals who for years, if not decades, have been subjected to directed energy, torture, mind control, experimentation. And if you believe that some of these things that have occurred to them that they're expressing have occurred with you, I want you to call us at 218-862-9829. I'm going to try to get to every single call, every single caller. In fact, this is what we do. First thing in the morning, we do sound check with Nemo. What's up, Nemo? Nemo.
Hey, good morning.
You know, today is Mind Control Marathon Day. We're doing 6 hours, dude.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. I'll be here.
Yep, it's going to be power-packed with stuff. We have Dr. Robert Duncan coming on, Deborah Tavares. We have a whole host of guests. I cannot wait to hear from Amy Anderson, of course. Amy Anderson's going to be joining us. And good sound check, Nemo. Stay there, okay?
Hey, dude, real quick, though.
Hurry.
Ukraine, protesters seized the president's compound.
Yes, they stormed the Bastille. That's what we need to do. We need to jump over the White House fence.
All right, take care. Have a good show.
All right. Thank you. You too. Susanna?
Yes, sir.
So periodically we're going to be covering the news, but I was thinking, we have such a power-packed show today. Can you imagine the feeling that I have of making sure that we juggle everything the way we need to juggle it and cram it all into a 6-hour blitz?
Yeah, no kidding.
So, it's a mind control marathon, but it's going to go by very, very quickly. So thanks for joining us. You're listening to the live Pete Santilli show. Now, also...
Very exciting.
Yes, this will be, I hope, one for the record books.
I think so. I think you're the only person who's done a marathon on mind control.
That's unfortunate. That's not it's not my proudest moment. It's actually a disappointment in my country and my fellow independent mediaites. But that's okay. Not too terribly disappointed because we take action. That's what we do. We move forward with good information. Let me make sure. Amy Anderson, do we have you scheduled in on a time slot? Because I want to spend some time with you. Amy Anderson, how are you? Amy Anderson, how are you? Oh, hold on.
Here. How you doing, Pete?
Hi, Miss Anderson. This is what I'd like to do, okay? I want to kick off the show here. Just let me get through my introduction. I'm going to kick off the show here with an introduction to you. I'm going to spend more time with you, of course, later on. I don't know if you want to stay for the whole 6 hours, but let me...
I'm going to stay, Pete. I'm going to stay.
Let me open up this mind control marathon with a brief discussion about you and my history as to how I came into this whole experience. So stay right there. We have 30 seconds to go. Stay right there. Welcome. Yeah, this has been a long time coming, ladies and gentlemen. You'll find out why Amy Anderson is important to me here just momentarily. We have just a few more seconds left. Have a great show, Susanna Cole.
You too, Pete Santilli.
My big voice.
Where are highlights right now? They're wherever you're willing to draw a line and say, you cannot come across this line or I'll kill you. That's where your rights are. And if you don't understand that, folks, then it's beyond my capability to explain it to you. They will get away with whatever you let them get away with.
Sure will.
Until you draw the line and you're willing to die for what you believe in.
We are.
They will keep taking and taking and taking and taking until there is no more to take. It's all
Log on.
And you're a slave.
We refuse to be slaves. We refuse to be slaves. There's absolutely no one but us willing to stop the decimation of our country. The collapse is settling in, and the elite are getting ready to head to their bunkers. It's time to arrest the ones who've overthrown our government and restore what has made us the greatest country on earth. It's time to use the Second Amendment for which it was intended. Tyranny hunting and communist overthrow. Live from the overthrow bunker in FEMA Region 9 in Southern California. I'm your host, Pete Santilli, and you're listening to the Mind Control Marathon.
Pete Santilli Show. The commentary and incitement you're about to hear is based on opinion, truth, and fact, and is meant to be used as an educational tool to fight the New World Order, the global elite, and the eugenics agenda. The Pete Santilli Show will never be censored by any corporation, and Mr. Santilli is certainly not beholden to the opinion of any of his sponsors. The opinions of his guests may not necessarily reflect the opinion of Mr. Santilli. Further, Mr. Santilli would like to urge his listeners to remain calm throughout the collapse, obey the Constitution, act lawfully, responsibly, and at their own risk of being brutalized by tyranny when taking any action after listening to the Pete Santilli Show. Also be advised, this program may contain adult content and parental discretion is strongly advised. It's time to throw away your chips and your Diet Cokes, so cling to your Bibles, grab your guns and your bug-out bags, and get ready for the Pete Santilli Show. Pete Santilli telling you the truth, whether you like it or not.
Whether you like it or not, you're going to hear from me for 6 hours. It's important. And by the way, before we opened up the show, I talked about in our show prep, we were mapping everything out. We have some great guests scheduled. We have so much information and so much conversation we need to have with my good friends, my recently acquired friends. I'm now a targeted individual, by the way. I'm a targeted individual, very proudly targeted by the TIs. These targeted individuals who for years, if not decades, they've been subjected to a very scientific, very factual-based, very dangerous form of mind control, directed energy torture. And these folks are very, very smart, very patriotic, very well studied, very knowledgeable, and they have targeted me to educate me. And I said, boy, this is just so much information, Susanna Cole. We have to dedicate more time because, as I was learning through this thing, there's just so much information. It's so much to wrap our arms around. But, just because there's a lack of time in our regular show schedule doesn't mean that we're not going to cover this. So we've dedicated this day, and it's a special edition of the Pete Santilli Show. It's called the Mind Control Marathon. And I'm going to tell you how it all got started, okay? And I'm going to open up with a very beautiful soul. I instantaneously, as a listener of hers, I was a board operator for Chief Kessler for the Chief Kessler Show, and he introduced her, and I immediately became entranced, just about, in a very positive light, in the information that she was able to convey in the Chief Kessler Show. It was a 1-hour show, and when I listened in, she was so knowledgeable. I welcome her right now. Amy Anderson, this has been a pretty long time coming. Then again, it hasn't been that long ago when I was introduced to you through the Chief Kessler Show. I thank him, but I especially want to thank you, because within that 1-hour presentation, you were able to get my attention. Not that that's like a huge thing, but getting my attention with such a huge, enormous subject like mind control and what the TIs have been through. That's a big task. So you were able to do that. I welcome you to this event, Mind Control Marathon, Amy Anderson. We're going to spend some time together today. I know you've been preparing for this, right?
Yes, sir. You know it.
Yeah. This is very important. I want to begin, and I think you agree with me, how important it is that somebody like me understand what's going on with the TIs. Okay, understand the technical aspects of what's happening. Understand the facts about what's happening. Understand that this mind control technology, this directed energy weaponry that's being used upon human beings is very real. This is very factually based. And for me to be able to take that information and say, hey, this is not only an anomaly. This is not only taking place. This is not only there's a treasure trove of information, a lot of very knowledgeable people, but we need to be able to tell everybody, this is what's coming to you. Every single person that's hearing our voices today is going to be subjected to this technology that they've experimented with the TIs on, right?
That's right, Pete.
That's the main message that I want to convey as we open this thing up. But I wanted to thank you very much. You were the first person. I had never heard of such a thing, Amy. I heard of the term even tinfoil hat, in a derogatory sense by the trolls that are out there, tinfoil hat wearers. But it wasn't until I really started digging into the directed energy technology that's being used where I fully understood. I mean, I understood what a tinfoil hat was. I was like, oh my goodness. We need to have some sort of a device or a room that people can shelter themselves that are being subjected to this stuff, but there's nowhere to hide from this, Amy, is there?
No, there isn't. It's land-based, it's space-based, land-based, and sea-based. And, the speed of light, we cannot hide from this. And because we can't hide from it, it penetrates the walls, cement, no matter where we go. And we have our own energy source. We are the solar anatomy being. And because of that, the only way we can escape is death. And that is something that a TI should never do, take their life.
No.
And some has taken their life. So I appreciate you, Pete. And whenever you get ready for me to bring in my introduction and my government piece, I'm ready for you.
Yes, thank you so much. Now, Ms. Amy Anderson, in her own words, she's very, very studied on this stuff that we're going to be sharing. Now, this is what I want. I really want everyone to do the following. When Amy Anderson comes back, okay, this is what I did. This was the biggest, most impactful part of my awakening was I wrote down the information that you gave, and I went and I did my own research. And I literally said, holy cow, everything she's saying is true. This isn't just conspiracy theory. Amy Anderson is going to present conspiracy facts. There's a conspiracy to control every single human being. We'll say here in the United States for right now, but worldwide. They now have the capabilities of doing that. So, Amy, I'm going to bring you back, okay? And I'm going to we're going to balance out our schedule here. I have Penguino the Clock, Nazi in the back. We got Ashley, who's coordinated our schedule, and we'll bring you on. I'm going to spend quite a bit of time with you, though. Okay, Amy?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. So, first of all, I do want to say this. The TIs. This is how these patriots, okay, they are patriots. They love their country. They love their fellow countrymen. They love their fellow TIs. You heard Amy talk about some people who've given up and taken their own lives. There's so much that you can contribute. I mean, if you are, and I understand, how torturous this can be, you need to gather together with us in this coalition of like-minded individuals. We need to share this information. No matter what you've been subjected to, you need to find the courage and the strength to press on and share this information so that, we're all going to leave this very evil place at some point, and that'll be a good thing. It will be. But let's not go prematurely. We have some work that we need to do. You need to have that strength. And you know what? God's going to give you that strength. I'm not going to be preaching here. I'm not going to be getting I'll probably get spiritual enough to be able to get through my day as I normally do. But God will give us all the strength to do everything that we can to defeat this thing. I think we can. I woke up this morning. Let me tell you this, Susanna.
Okay.
I woke up this morning and I felt so much energy. I didn't even tell you this in our pre-show prep thing.
Oh, I could tell.
Very energetic today, right?
Yeah, me too. We went to bed kind of early because we knew it was going to be a long day. And then we just kind of got up early and I feel fantastic. That fog has lifted. Mm-hmm. Sleep deprivation is gone. It's fantastic. So
yeah, I feel an energy about this thing. And I say this thing. This week we covered some very sobering topics. Okay. Spending time with John Whitehead. We came away with a sense of it was conflicting, a sense of hopelessness and a high energetic feeling of resistance. And that was the energy that I felt this morning. I put my feet on the ground, ladies and gentlemen, and I said, yes, that's right, militant, nonviolent resistance to this thing. That's going to be our contribution in this mind control marathon right here on the Pete Santilli Show on Guerrilla Media Network on this 2/22/14 episode number 639. Now, guess what? Tesla loves 6s, 3s, and 9s. This is episode 639. That should give you the goosebumps. We're off and running. Welcome. Infidel Body Armor, made in the USA, an Oath Keeper and disabled veteran-owned business in Texas, selling to U.S. patriots concerned about any type of ballistic threats when it hits the fan. Not just law enforcement and military. The engineers at Infidel have designed lightweight, wearable, and durable body armor with life-saving reliability, made with military-grade steel and capable of withstanding hit after hit from high-velocity, large-caliber rounds. From rapid deployment systems to tailored models, Infidel Body Armor has all the right gear, especially suited for any grid-down situation. Infidel Body Armor sold at a fraction of the typical cost for police and military gear, which is designed to be replaced after ballistic impact. Remember, in the middle of societal collapse, replacement ceramic and Kevlar will not be easily found. Infidel's armor combo with plate carrier, front and back plate start at $375. Visit GuerrillaMediaNetwork.com/infidel to check out Infidel's Body Armor and make sure you let them know you heard about them on the Guerrilla Media Network.
Aloha, this is Tahiti Joe, the maker of Tahiti Joe's Hot Sauces and the Maui Pepper Company.
The saga of Tahiti Joe's Hot Sauces is a very tasty story. Tahiti Joe went exploring the South Seas for the spices and was easily sidetracked, but don't tell his lady.
Then, after a few months, Tahiti Joe blended a beautiful array of spices with clam juice and honey.
It had a sweet tropical flavor, and with the heat of the peppers, it reminded him of the islands.
Tahiti Joe had to name the new sauce, and Tahiti Joe's Hot Sauces was born. Try it as a chicken wing sauce.
Barbecue, marinade,
or use it to create a delicious Polynesian Mary.
So, Visit www.TahitiJoesHotSauces.com today to satisfy your cravings for
Tropical taste sensation.
www.TahitiJoesHotSauces.com.
Nobel Prize winner Alexis Carrel, cell biology researcher, discovered a detoxified and nourished cell lives in a state of eternal youth. Clean cells will result in improved energy, mood, blood sugar, liver function, and skin health. Also, you can lose fat and keep or gain muscle and reduce or eliminate inflammation and more. To discover how to detoxify and nourish the 100 trillion cells of your body, call this free recorded message at 866-844-1047. That's 866-844-1047.
And I was just yelling on mute, and that wasn't a good thing. But let's go to, we're going to go to the telephone lines here. Let's make sure that we get everybody set in the queue. We got Michael Benghazi. You're a targeted individual yourself. Michael Benghazi, are you there?
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Good morning. What's going on? You have anything topic related? Do you want to share with everybody?
Just a quick snippet. Look up helicopters, Tennessee, overflying a city.
Dude, I have access to Google. Why don't you go ahead and spit it out, man? Tell me what you got on helicopters.
Yeah, what's going on?
Okay, hang on. Let me get my link back for you guys.
Okay, let me go to Barbara here. Barbara, hold on one second, Michael Benghazi. I'll get right back to you. Hi, Barbara. How are you?
Hi, Pete. How are you?
I'm doing great. Welcome back.
I'm glad. Thank you. Thank you. I'm a targeted, tortured individual. And let me turn my tea off. And I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much for having us. Thank you so much for permitting us on your line. We really appreciate you and Susanna and the rest of the team.
You know what? It's not just permitting. I mean, I've learned a lot about this stuff. I've learned a lot right in front of everybody. And then guess what? The main thing that I learned, I said, "Holy cow, this could happen to me. Any one of us could be targeted, and all of these TIs have been experimented with." And I call the TIs laboratory rats. For decades, you've all been contained and experimented with and poked and prodded, and just all of these things have been done to you. And now I believe, especially seeing the technology that's available, that they're going to apply those experiments, what they've learned from those experiments, to the entire population. Right?
Pete, it is happening to you now. It's just that you just don't realize it, but it is happening. It's happening to every citizen of the United States.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hello?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, can you hear me?
It's happening to every single one of us. What? Hello?
Yes.
Mainly they target us while we're sleeping. So the radiation has gone through your brain, through your body parts. They have these people walking around. I've never heard of anybody speak of this yet. They have burst bugs in their ear. And if you're a targeted, tortured individual, we usually react because these people are right under our armpit. And with this burst bug, it records everything that you're saying. And so then eventually you got the cops on your door saying that you're going into an insane asylum or you're going to have a psychological evaluation because you're reacting to this program set up to destroy your life. And every single one of us is a targeted individual. It depends on to what degree. Some of us are so tortured. Some of us are targeted in the fact that it's all about control, New World Order. Christianity is out. We have this Mohammed Ali Biare, who is very supportive of Hamas, Hezbollah, El Nazor, and he is one of our advisors to our president. He is physically in Homeland Security in the United States of America.
Yeah.
Look him up, Mohammed Ali Biare.
You want to know something? And I'm not going to get off. Actually, we dedicated 6 hours, so that way we can talk through this stuff. Okay. And so with that, we have the time, and I don't need to be rushing through. Now we're going to take appropriate breaks, of course. I need to do that in order to set the show up just right. But last night, Susanna and I keyed in on a very important conversation that I had with somebody we call him Gandalf. Susanna, do you remember that segment in the conversation that we had never ever paid attention to? He's with the CIA. He's a CIA whistleblower. He's my good friend, a very trusted confidant that I spent time with in the Marine Corps. We have a brotherly relationship. And you know what he told me about what the CIA's policy is for Christians and for dealing with the Christian and Muslim conflict? Guess what it is? They have a plan, literally, to have us commingle, or basically just genetically. What was the term that he used? I'm gonna play it here, but
to inbreed.
Yeah, to inbreed. That's right.
So that we become docile toward one another.
Can you imagine this? And we have some religious conflicts here on Earth. The Earth is pretty much split in half. But one thing that I notice with me as a Christian, there's an attack on Christianity. No doubt about it. I mean, we have, and whether it be, by the Muslims, no, let's set that aside. We do know that the people that are even running our government are anti-Christian. They're trying to take Christianity and our faith away and get us to submit to, here's the key thing, to this new world religion where their system of governance and their technocracy is the new God. Isn't that true?
Yes.
Barbara?
Yes. Yes, it is. And I also wanted to mention, too, we have groups called InfraGard, for instance, in Philadelphia. There's 58,000 people signed up to head out to the streets and stalk targeted individuals. Sometimes I have as many as 100 vehicles beside me, in front of me, behind me. InfraGard, that's one of many of these groups out there that are set up, that are trained by our FBI to harass, home invade, poison our food, slander our names, defame our characters.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, this is really bad. This is in one city alone in the United States. 58,000 of these people are hired, and there's no paper trail. They get paid. These are the kind of things that are happening, and there are a lot of men involved, targeted, but there are also so many more women, and we're wondering why. Sharia law.
Barbara, stay right there, okay? This is an interesting topic.
Okay.
Interesting. I stumbled into this one little segment. You're going to hear the audio from a CIA whistleblower, okay? His name is Gandalf. That's his code name. And you'll hear his audio, what he told what the CIA is doing. And he read these documents, and everybody was like, what the heck? But you're going to hear this audio as soon as we come back. This is very real, very true. And you're about to hear about this interbreeding scheme. Mind Control Marathon all day today, 6 hours of continuous coverage here. We're going to take breaks. We need to, but tune in. It's going to be power-packed, full of information throughout all 6 hours.
Welcome to a real minute of information with Life Change Tea. Thousands and thousands of people are fighting flus, colds, viruses, and such, and are losing valuable time at work or just plain old feeling lousy. Did you know that just 2 8-ounce glasses of Life Change Tea can help you with flu, colds, and viruses? In fact, Life Change Tea helps with more than just flus and colds. Life Change Tea helps fight cholesterol, blood pressure, constipation, colon buildup, liver problems, and much more. Just drink 2 8-ounce glasses a day and feel the difference. Many people reorder this product every single month. The cost is about $1 a day. No gimmicks, just results. So order today. Log on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Or you can call us at 928-308-0408. That's 928-308-0408. And just so you know, one of Life Change Tea's side effects is losing weight. Health is important. Don't procrastinate. Order today at getthetea.com.
Susanna, what's the best way to stay warm this winter?
Oh, that's easy. It's Tahiti Joe's hot sauces.
Okay, but what flavor?
Well, that's not so easy because there's so many to choose from.
Polynesian.
Tropic garlic.
Tahiti ahi.
Volcano ahi.
Camel toe hot sauce.
Analyze this.
Quadruple X Ghost Pepper Hot Sauce.
Aloha, this is Tahiti Joe, the maker of Tahiti Joe's Hot Sauces and the Maui Pepper Company. All of our sauces are made with a beautiful array of ingredients with no preservatives added and are prepared with a tropical passion for the perfect balance of flavor and heat delivered directly to you.
So warm up your winter with the tropical taste sensations from www.TahitiJoesHotSauces.com.
Tahiti Joe's hot sauces. Get some today.
Infidel Body Armor, made in the USA, an Oath Keeper and disabled veteran-owned business in Texas, selling to U.S. patriots concerned about any type of ballistic threats when it hits the fan, not just law enforcement and military.
Oh, may I help you?
Ms. Tavares, I'll be right with you. This is Pete Santilli. Durable body
great,
armor
Pete,
with
thanks.
life-saving reliability, made with military-grade steel and capable of withstanding hit after hit from high-velocity, large-caliber rounds. From rapid deployment systems to tailored models, Infidel Body Armor has all the right gear, especially suited for any grid-down situation. Infidel Body Armor sold at a fraction of the typical cost for police and military gear, which is designed to be replaced after ballistic impact. Remember, in the middle of societal collapse, replacement ceramic and Kevlar will not be easily found. Infidel's Armor Combo with plate carrier, front and back plate start at $375. Visit GorillaMediaNetwork.com/infidel to check out Infidel's Body Armor and make sure you let them know you heard about them on the Gorilla Media Network.
With email, Skype, Facebook, Twitter, and cell phones, we're more connected than ever before. But there are huge privacy and security problems with all of them. Things are being blocked where they're needed most, where people are fighting for their beliefs. Now, wouldn't it be nice if there was a way to replace Skype, Facebook, email, and messaging with something more secure so you can communicate freely? Ready to change the world? Introducing Unseen, the first free, secure, and private communication platform. Secure chat, secure messaging, secure content delivery,
I'm live right
like nothing else. Unseen gives you the key to freedom. You have the power to change the world. Sign up now for free to give freedom.
This is Cosmic, and you are listening to the Pete Santilli Show. Pete Santilli, telling you the truth, whether you like it or not.
What difference at this point does it make?
Okay, very quickly, I'm going to go back to Barbara real quick. So, Barbara, I told you I was going to play this for you, so just stay right there, Barbara.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, just listen to this before I bring on my next guest. I promised you guys that I would play this for you, and here it is. I got it all queued up. Now, you may hear some offensive language. It's raw and real here, but this is a CIA whistleblower who is talking about the interbreeding program that the CIA has. So when we talk about these conspiracy theories, here's a conspiracy fact. Somebody who saw the documentation. Listen to this.
Sorry about that.
The busy man, Pete Santilli.
Yeah, dude, it's been pretty.
Well, you know what the CIA's answer is? They did a very, very, very comprehensive study. You know what they decided? Interbreeding is the only way to soften the issues between Christians and Muslims.
No shit, dude. Really?
Did you hear that, Barbara? The interbreeding program, Barbara, interbreeding. So stay right there. I'm going to go to my very, very important guest, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to kick off this mind control marathon with my next guest. Her name is Deborah Tavares, and you're going to learn much more about her. I'm going to abbreviate my introduction to save the amount of time that we need in order to convey the information that she's had access to. But she's spreading the word. This is one of the categories that she covers. She's known as, very affectionately as the smart meter lady. She's brought that technology forward. She's exposed connections between mysterious global trends of man-made and corporate military control technologies, weaponized frequencies, falsified science of the global warming movement. And I welcome back to the show Deborah Tavares. Welcome back on this very special edition of the Pete Santilli Show, the Mind Control Marathon.
Well, thank you so much, Pete, for having me on. There's so much to cover, and I want to quickly start at the foundation of everything. I want everyone to go to stopthecrime.net and scroll down on the home page to the section about USA Inc. to understand our reality. Also, read a most important book that's a free download. It is called The Great American Adventure, Secrets of America by retired Judge Dale. And also The Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars. We have many links on mind control. We had a whistleblower give us the most important document that we'll discuss here in a moment. But fundamentally, it's most important to understand we've been warned multiple times, and I know that now there are growing numbers of people understanding something is very, very wrong, and they're searching for answers. And so the entire targeting of individuals, it's now a mass targeting. It's a global population targeting of technologies that people are not even aware exist. And again, only 10 days before Kennedy was assassinated, he warned us about a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy. And he said it would conscript every aspect of our lives, and it has. He said it would conscript the economy, all our material resources. It would conscript military, the diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. So people weren't able to really understand what that meant. But now people are starting to pay attention, and I can say that where they need to start is Senate Report 93549. With all of the targeting of frequencies, all of the targeting of land theft, the massive takedown of the United States and other countries, you've got to understand the United States Senate Report 93549 identifies all of us as the enemy. So when we seek help through the government, we have to understand it's a corporate structure. It is under statutory laws, and they define and make rules and regulations in and through the executive branch only. What we see in Washington, D.C., the District of Criminals, on a daily basis is literally a well-orchestrated daily soap opera. But worse, they are imposing criminal corporate laws. And so in order to understand your reality, you need to understand we are in a corporate structure. This is why the directed weaponized frequencies are being used in mass populations now. This is why we're being sprayed with chemtrails and toxins in our food and water supply. We do not have a government, obviously, that's serving us. And how did this all happen? Well, it happened because we are under a perpetual national state of emergency, where it's been an ongoing ritual since about 1933, according to, again, Senate Report 93549. And once the emergency is declared, the common law is abolished, the Constitution is abolished, and we're all under the absolute will of the government or public policy, and we're under a system of public policy, a war powers. There's a war on everything, a war on poverty, a war on drugs, a war on terror, a war on climate, and every time they declare a war, they bring in corporate agencies that lock us down further. And so all the government needs to continue is to have the public opinion on their side, which they've had. And if the public opinion can be kept in sufficient degrees on the side of this criminal corporate government, statutes, laws, regulations, executive orders can continue to be passed, and the Constitution has had no meaning. The Constitution has been suspended, and it has been shelved for over 60 to 80 years, and we're not under law. Law has been abolished. And this was, again, announced, the continuation of this perpetual national emergency last September 10th, 2013 by the current administration, and it's announced every year. So here we are, the enemy, back in 1933, when we were bankrupted and America's gold was stolen, And our grandparents, my grandparents, were certainly having a horrible time trying to survive through the Great Depression. They weren't aware of what was happening. And we were collateralized against this. It's all banksters, and we were conscripted, everything, our sweat equity, our property, our children, and our souls. And when you then build from there and you go to the Silent Weapons Quiet Wars document, which is a declaration of war, and they say, again, this was put together in the late 40s by the U.S. Air Force, Harvard University, the International Bankers, and Rockefeller. And the definition is that we're under a type of biological warfare, and that's what we're all experiencing, in many more direct and severe and horrific ways. But the entire global human family is now under biological and technological assault and attack. We're under a technological, scientific tyranny, and it attacks our vitality, our options, our mobility, the individuals of society, knowing, understanding, manipulating, attacking our sources of natural and social energy, our physical, mental, emotional strengths and weaknesses. And I would urge everyone to download from stopthecrime.net this 44-page document. Understand this is a declaration of war, and we're the enemy. So building from the fact that we're the declaration of war, they also tell us that the key to taking down the globe is control of all energy. And we are energy. Our minds are energy.
We are. Ms. Tavares, we're going to take breaks here. I'm going to cut out a couple, but if you would just stay right there, okay? Ms. Deborah Tavares, and I'm going to tell you my resource for a lot of this information. She's just not just plugging a website. This is the library of all things that we're going to be speaking of today. StopTheCrime.net. StopTheCrime.net. This is Deborah Tavares right after this.
Life Change Tea detoxifies. GetTheTea.com. It's only about $1 a day. GetTheTea.com. Receive more energy. GetTheTea.com. Lose weight. GetTheTea.com. It's purifying. GetTheTea.com. It works immediately. GetTheTea.com. It's too easy. GetTheTea.com. We challenge you. GetTheTea.com. What's the phone number? 928-308-0408. What did you say? 928-308-0408. I didn't get that. 928-308-0408. Will it work? Yes. GetTheTea.com. Unmatched. GetTheTea.com. This gets in your head. GetTheTea.com. That's the idea.
The Guerrilla Media Network is proud to announce that we have a 24-hour listener line for mobile phones. The number to dial is 712-432-7848, and there's no cost for the call. The calls use only mobile minutes and avoids costly data rate charges. If you have unlimited minutes, the call is absolutely free. 24 hours a day, 7 days per week. You can listen to the Guerrilla Media Network listener line. Just dial 712-432-7848. Coast to coast, 24/7. The Guerrilla Media Network is the #1 alternative to the alternative media. Put us on speed dial, 712-432-7848.
With email, Skype, Facebook, Twitter, and cell phones, we're more connected than ever before. But there are huge privacy and security problems with all of them. Things are being blocked where they're needed most, where people are fighting for their beliefs. Now, wouldn't it be nice if there was a way to replace Skype, Facebook, email, and messaging with something more secure so you can communicate freely? Ready to change the world? Introducing Unseen, the first free, secure, and private communication platform. Secure chat, secure messaging, secure content delivery, like nothing else. Unseen gives you the key to freedom. You have the power to change the world. Sign up now for free to give freedom.
And now, broadcasting live from deep inside the bunker at FEMA Region 9 is your host, Pete Santilli, telling you the truth, whether you like it or not.
Okay, and the top of the hour news break. We're going to continue on. We're going to take a break over the top of the hour and come back with Ms. Deborah Tavares. We need to spend as much time as we possibly can. Back to you, Deborah. Sorry for the interruption.
Yes, Pete. Okay, so it's extremely important to understand that the organized stalking, all the remote electronic assault victims that have been targeted, this is a massive assault. There are many layers of attacks and assault upon the entire global family, and we're told in many, many documents exactly what they're doing, all the programs, all the secret programs. And, of course, we know that people are experiencing horrific assaults with migraines, muscle cramps, cancer, heart attacks, brain embolisms, partial blindness, blurred and degenerated vision, sleep deprivation, uncontrollable jerking of limbs, microwave burns. Why am I reading these? Well, because this is the frequencies, and these are the consequences, too, that many are experiencing in combination with the cell phone towers, the antennas, and all of the smart meters that are being deployed and forced upon us. Very, very important for everybody that's listening to go to stopthecrime.net, take a look at the NASA war document, look at page 50, for example. This document was put together not only by NASA, which is a corporate agency working for profit, also the U.S. Air Force, DARPA, CIA, FBI, Southern Command, etc. And it says on page 50, they admit the effects of low-power microwaves, and according to the U.S. Army military document, which we do have under the source documents on stopthecrime.net, they tell us there will be behavioral decrements, seizures, gross alteration in brain function, increases in brain blood flow, and death. So we're being told that we are in a transhumanism agenda. This is what this is really all about. People are having to stretch out of their comfort zones, out of the illusion, and understand what the methodologies and the wealth and the power structure is going towards. Do we have to
Ms. Tavares?
Yes.
I'm sorry. This isn't an interruption. Just please help me confirm what I've solidified as a result of listening to you on previous episodes. Senate Report 93-549. Essentially, if we sit there, I remember sitting here saying, well, we have constitutional rights and they're violating them. This Senate Report 93-549 confirmed to me that they've suspended the Constitution, that the Constitution, in effect, does not even apply at this point.
Well, that's absolutely right. And they do everything many, many times. They tell us over and over again, such as October 21st of 1945. What occurred then was the United States became a member of the United Nations. And what occurred, of course, is that we relinquished our sovereignty in order to become a charter member. And so they do this many, many times in many ways, just as the climate action plan right now that's making its way through all of the cities is redefining what CO2 emissions are. We need CO2 for the survival of all living things on the planet, but they've demonized that. We've got to reduce our carbon footprint, greenhouse gas, or CO2, in order to stop climate change. Now, why am I saying this? The assault is massive. It's frequencies, it's towers, it's directed electromagnetic weapons, it's satellites. It's a massive assault, and it boggles most people's mind to have to consider the degree of the assault upon us. But I can tell you, we are in the 21st century, and we have mind control, operational robots, directed energy weapons, and turning the plasma of our air literally into frequencies. And if you want to kill an entire agricultural crop, you can, because the air has become a plasma, and you can pump frequencies that can be toxic to, for example, a wheat crop. And you can pump in frequencies from the sky that can cause changes in behavior and can cause bliss and make people unreasonably exuberant, despite the fact that they are in a dangerous situation. And we are in a dangerous situation. And what we have and what has occurred is they have made people basically psychologically, physically paralyzed so they can't function. And we as a global society are in the massive face of danger. And every day that we're being pumped with fluoride and with all of the poisons in the food supply, in the air, in the water, we are being numbed down out of a reactionary position. That is what is exactly our reality. And all the targeting with frequencies, again, it's being amplified. We found about 8 months or so ago on the White House website a very important document. You can get to it by going to stopthecrime.net, go to the mind control page, and scroll down, and you will see a map that we put up. It was a map that was inside a 13-page White House government document, and it's targeting the United States. The military-industrial complex is using radar. It's the silent weapons system deployment, and they've deployed it now, and it's ongoing. They're literally creating an electromagnetic frequency fence around the perimeter of the United States and going through our entire country. This is psychotronic weaponized warfare. And when I interviewed Barry Trower some months back, he said there are between 15 and 40 countries that are engaged in this psychotronic weaponization. This is for mass mind control, and it is all about quantum computers and mind theft, the invasion of the human brain and artificial intelligence. In other words, controlling our thoughts, our emotions, and directing our physical actions. And we can see that when we look at the Aquarius operations briefing that you can look at the top of stopthecrime.net. They tell us, well, first, the Aquarius operations was a secret society, or is a secret society, charged with mind control through frequencies. And this document, 50 pages, is the planned chemical sedation of the population using radio microwave frequencies for mass mind control. They make it very, very clear that with government programs and all of the prior experimentation, that and through the Reach Project and the Belfry Project, that they can queue up selected individuals in our society to carry out programs such as mass shootings, like what we saw with Alexis at the D.C. Naval Shipyard,
yes,
with electromagnetic frequencies, ELF, extremely low frequencies. And that's what it talks about in the NASA war document. That's what this Aquarius operations is all about. This is using frequencies, electromagnetic, radio wave, microwave pulse, to mind control warfare. And they told us it would have great advantages in that it would, the desired subjects and populations would have no knowledge of the procedure being implemented. And Pete, this I know is what this whole program is all about today, to get this information out to a numbed down population who is living in the reality, the illusion that we have a representative government. All they have to do is take the blindfolds off and look around them. I would encourage everyone start getting the Great American Adventure out to all that you know, because we have been indoctrinated through expert programming and conditioning and prejudice and patriotism to treat information like what we're talking about right now as being absurd and untrue, and it's time to grow up. We have to look around and look at our lives. They've eliminated the family farms, and they're doing that now. I just read an article that Central California is going to be massively reduced in water, with water availability. That's going to put many, many farmers and ranchers out of business. It's going to reduce the food supply, and it's massive land theft. The assault is massive. It is mind control. And taking away the family farms, I would urge everybody to watch the YouTube Torn from the Land. Very, very important YouTube to understand what is happening and how this has been an ongoing incremental process. And this carries on to all the assaults that are upon us right now. are being placed into cities. Our industry has been given away. We have had a valueless currency. Our gold was stolen. We've had increased taxes, and they've involved us in stage wars. They've begun mass foreclosures of American homes and poisoned our air, water, and food supply. Now, I found a very interesting couple of pages in the NASA war document that I want to talk about right now, because this relates to everything that we're just talking about today. Again, stopthecrime.net, the NASA war plan, and I'm looking at page 12 and 13 right now. And what is so significant about these pages? Well, it goes through the technological ages of mankind and of humankind. They start out with hunter-gatherers, and then, of course, the agriculture through 1800 AD, and then the Industrial Revolution, then the Internet, then bio and nano, which they say we're in now, and the final technological age of humankind is virtual. And I feel that this is largely where we've all been for a very long time, because they've created a false reality. It's the movie Avatar. In fact, I would urge everybody to go to this website, 2045.com. That's 2045.com, 2045.com. And what you're going to see is a new era for humanity. They're talking about the need for us to develop new ethics, new levels of morality, because what they talk about is transferring one's personality to an artificial carrier. We're not all being, they say we're not all being responsible for our evolution. And this is literally leading us away from what they proclaim is a physical death. This is a race for immortality.
Wow.
So the virtual reality is talked about on page 12 of the NASA war document. Again, we're being told to reject the evidence that our eyes and ears see. I mean, these secret programs are only continuing to happen because we have been, the bulk of society has been placed in this virtual reality, where our past is not just being altered, it's being destroyed and rewritten, choosing lies to become part of a permanent record. The media has been reshaping our reality. In fact, in the Silent Weapons Quiet Wars document, they claim their success, their victory.
Ms. Tavares, we're gonna break over the top of the hour. I have to do this though, okay? Stay right there. We're gonna come right back, right over the top of the hour with Ms. Deborah Tavares. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm looking at 2045.com, not just any other website. This is a new global plan, an open letter to Secretary General Ban Ki-moon of the UN. This is a global future 2045 they're shooting for with this international Congress. Frightening. Absolutely frightening. We'll be right back right after the top of the hour.
Aloha, this is Tahiti Joe, the maker of Tahiti Joe's Hot Sauces and the Maui Pepper Company.
The saga of Tahiti Joe's Hot Sauces is a very tasty story. Tahiti Joe went exploring the South Seas for the spices and was easily sidetracked, but don't tell his lady.
Then, after a few months, Tahiti Joe blended a beautiful array of spices with clam juice and honey.
It had a sweet tropical flavor, and with the heat of the peppers, it reminded him of the islands.
Tahiti Joe had to name the new sauce, and Tahiti Joe's Hot Sauces was born. Try it as a chicken wing sauce.
Barbecue, marinade,
or use it to create a delicious Polynesian Mary.
So, visit www.tahitijoeshotsauces.com today to satisfy your cravings for
tropical taste sensation.
www.tahitijoeshotsauces.com. Infidel Body Armor, made in the USA, an Oath Keeper and disabled veteran-owned business in Texas, selling to U.S. patriots concerned about any type of ballistic threats when it hits the fan. Not just law enforcement and military. The engineers at Infidel have designed lightweight, wearable, and durable body armor with life-saving reliability, made with military-grade steel and capable of withstanding hit after hit from high-velocity, large-caliber rounds. From rapid deployment systems to tailored models, Infidel Body Armor has all the right gear, especially suited for any grid-down situation. Infidel body armor sold at a fraction of the typical cost for police and military gear, which is designed to be replaced after ballistic impact. Remember, in the middle of societal collapse, replacement ceramic and Kevlar will not be easily found. Infidel's armor combo with plate carrier, front and back plate start at $375. Visit GorillaMediaNetwork.com/infidel to check out Infidel's body armor and make sure you let them know you heard about them on the Gorilla Media Network.
This is Dr. Judy Wood, author of Where Did the Towers Go? And you're listening to the Gorilla Media Network.
Pockets full of homes, no money, no rules, no homes, no HOPES. Will you call me useless tramp? Will you call me tramp? No money, no rules, no homes, no HOPES.
Okay, we are back with Miss Deborah Tavares, and where we left off was 2045.com, and I was just glancing through it. I mean, let me begin this next segment, this next 30-minute segment that I have with Deborah Tavares by asking her the following. For those of us in the beginning when I first heard Amy Anderson, some of the stuff was just almost unfathomable. But that is the whole desired effect of keeping us docile, keeping us dumbed down, keeping us distracted so that they can accomplish these goals. So if we're sitting here thinking, oh my goodness, this just can't be true, it's supposed to happen that way. We're supposed to be in that fog of denial, aren't we?
Well, there's absolutely no question. And in fact, it's so wide and so deep that people just can't believe it. And that is sadly what has been the reality. But I can tell you, more and more people are realizing that something is very, very wrong. And more people are now opening up to the ideas of these shows and listening to what is being said and just doing a little bit of investigation for themselves and moving through the sadness, the sense of betrayal, and then getting into anger and then trying to figure out what they can do. And what we're doing right now, Pete, is the most important thing, getting this information out. Mm-hmm. I was talking and know a number of targeted individuals, all targeted in different fashions, different degrees. And early on, and again, we're all targeted. We all have our targeted stories. But in asking what could the bulk of the population do, and they said, do the research and believe them. This is real. So this would apply towards everything that you're hearing right now. Do the research. This is all real. And understand we're in a corporate structure. We have executive orders, which are corporate statutes. We cannot consent to this. We have to stop being obedient to the corporate statutes. It's a dead legal fiction. We are alive, breathing humans. And if we continue to not understand how we can at least maybe throw sticks in this horrific cog that's rolling over and gobbling us all up, we must. That's our duty. That's what we're here for, is to do this. And the corporate laws and regulations that are called statutes and their effect and control over human beings is deceptively obtained by consent through civil contracts. That's why I cannot underscore enough for people to download The Great American Adventure by Judge Dale and read it, because he'll tell you all this deception is compounded by the refusal of ordinary Americans to realize or to understand that this secrecy and duplicity of privately owned corporations bringing surreptitiously betrayed as American agencies and governments. And he goes on to tell us, of course, that as long as we consent And as long as we do not understand the structure that we are under, we're going to continue to be consumed by it. And again, the silent weapons document tells us we are being enslaved by lack of knowledge, and that's absolutely the case. We've got the chemtrails. We've got the variety of layers of what that really represents. I mean, it's a secret program, and yet recently when I was searching for information on the Climate Action Plan, which I would encourage everyone go to on stopthecrime.net, you'll see flashing the Climate Action Plan. And I guess what I'm going to illustrate right now is how do they plan to get from where we are now to this transhumanism, the replacement of man. They tell us in the NASA War document, again on page 66, I've talked about this before, but they say increasingly critical are human limitations and downsides. We're too large, too heavy, we're too tender, we're too slow physically and mentally. We require too much cost, and we have rapidly decreasing to negative value. The very next page, 67, talks about robots in the large and how efficient and affordable they are. And they say on page 9, humans have taken over and vastly shortened evolution. They're going to direct evolution. That's what 2045.com is all about.
Yeah, Deborah, can I add something to that? I need to add this to it. I have it up on the screen on YouTube live right now. There is a project milestone that takes us from, check this out, 2015 to 2020, robotic control, or robotic copy of the human body remotely controlled in 4 different stages, all the way through 2020, an avatar in which a human brain is transplanted at the end of one's life. By 2040, they expect to have a hologram-like avatar of human beings. This is incredible.
Yes, it's exactly right. And the NASA War document, the entire title of the NASA War document and what it's about robots, cyborgs, and humans. And everybody needs to understand this has been happening for a very long time. You can look at the Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh at the Robotics Institute that was started in 1979. And you can see that they have many campuses within that facility, 80,000 square feet and various 100,000 square feet make up several of the campuses. But the Robotics Institute has had a budget of over $65 million a year, and it was the first robotics development in any U.S. university. And the research volume has doubled every 7 years since its founding. And the Robotics Institute is a worldwide hub for research. Who are the sponsors? They include, and not only, the Department of Defense, DARPA, NASA, NIH, the National Institute of Health, NSF, and many, many others. These corporate agencies are defining humanity. They are replacing humanity. This is a transhumanism agenda that they are aiming towards the entire planet. Massive reduction of human beings. Now, we talked about how do they get there from here? Well, they keep initiating by executive order these corporate statutes that we keep abiding to. We keep abiding. We have got to stop abiding to lawless laws. We have not only a secret federal government that is not a federal government, we also have secret local governments. Our city councils, our county board of supervisors, they are all incorporated. They do not serve us. We are under a warfare called the Delphi technique. All the meetings, every meeting globally, even the science meetings, even the climate change meetings, they're all Delphied. It's all mind control through the RAND Corporation, where they have facilitators that direct, organize the predetermined outcome of these meetings. And we go there, we sit in these meetings, and people leave scratching their heads thinking, what just happened? They didn't listen at all to what I had to say. Now, everything, again, it's a corporate structure. Everything is based on contracts. So what you can do and what you must do, go to your city, find out if they've implemented a climate action plan. They're called many things, but like climate action plans, energy action plans, sustainability plans. Again, go to stopthecrime.net, click on the climate action plan link, understand how this is going to increase mind control, increase the frequency of assault upon society, because these plans are requiring smart meters. All the pushback, all the opt-outs that have occurred in various cities throughout the United States and globally, by the way,
can I ask a question?
Is completely eliminated by these plans.
Do you think part of the Agenda 21, you can see their maps, how they want to take us from the rural sprawl. We've pretty much spread out, but they want to take us to this Wi-Fi, highly concentrated, very populated metro type of configuration. They have maps in the UN. Is this part of the whole thing of corralling us, putting us in the pen of Metro America and subjecting us to this radio frequency stuff?
It's really a real life Hunger Games, and it's the Wildlands Project. Now, what is really behind the Wildlands Project is the fact that the United States, the bankers, got other countries to accept the United States currency as the world reserve currency. And as France, for example, was sitting on a lot of worthless paper and asked for the gold to be taken. In fact, there's an article on stopthecrime.net about this under the Climate Action Plan. I would recommend that everybody read it. It's called The Truth Behind the Wildlands Project. The bottom line about this, really, Pete, is that they're claiming all the land. We were collateralized. Remember, back in 1933, everything was collateralized against the phony debt. And so now they must redeem what the promise of the gold that they set at $35 an ounce. And they're literally have collateralized all the land. They've got to move us off. They've promised the land to other countries, our energy resources, our water, and our land. In the Pittsburgh Climate Action Plan, again, I'm very interested in Pittsburgh because it was one of the main hubs when the Illuminati came from Europe to the United States. And Svali, S-V-A-L-I, talks about that in many of her interviews. She's an ex-Illuminati. And it's just very important to understand Pittsburgh is really kind of a prime place to look for documents. Carnegie Mellon, it's all eugenics programs. It's all robotics. Most of our major universities are, as a matter of fact. In fact, I found a really shocking mission statement on the Pennsylvania Smart Infrastructure Incubator website. I have that mission statement that talks about a hidden secret, how they're transforming all networks, all systems. And again, you can find this on stopthecrime.net under the Climate Action Plan link. At the very top of the link, I have various flyers you can download. I would recommend that you do. I would recommend that you do a little homework, because we're talking about how are they going to get us from where we are right now to this replacement of humans with machinery and robots. And this is the plan. This is exactly what they're telling us. Because when we read, for example, on page 18 of the NASA War document, they talk about some IT predictions. They say quantum computing initially available in 5 years. Well, keep in mind, this plan was put forth in 2001. So by 2006, they were saying quantum computing would be available. They said that then, in 2001, 15% of all the power today is used by computers, and it will reach 60% by 2010. What they're doing is they're reallocating our energy resources to massively run these huge NSA facilities that we see in Bluffdale, Utah, and others that are being built around the country. This is a computer takeover. In fact, when I went to Al Gore's meeting and he was talking about his new book, The Future, he talked about the replacement of humans and that we would be called and become a global mind. We would be shaped and pushed into a global mind where all the feelings would be collected in artificial intelligence.
Jeez.
It's surreal. But again,
Deborah, one more question. Now, of course, we know that we're being subjected to mind control. Are they also? Do they have technology to read minds?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah, they have for a very, very long time. And I'm sure as you go through the day and talking to others, you will find that that is absolutely the case. And all of the predictive programming that we're seeing in movies is all the capabilities that they have. And again, when we talk about how are they getting there from here to there, you can look around you. You can see many things. I know that we call it UN Agenda 21, but UN Agenda 21 comes in many layers. It comes in the overhead aerial chemtrailing program. I mean, everything is weaponized. This is a global takedown and a numbing down process. They, again, tell us in the silent weapons document that we're being enslaved by lack of knowledge. And they say their victory will be determined on how well they've been able to subvert our education, how well they have been able to insert our reality with media propaganda, and how well they've kept all of us distracted by things of no real importance. So as we go through the day and people start to understand that people are targeted with frequencies, we're all now being targeted because we're literally incarcerated. This is an incarceration camp that we are in, and in the United States and globally. Another website to go to see the frequencies and how well they've put them in place is sensorly.com. That's sensorly.com. Now, there's always the stated goal and the real goal. The stated goal behind this website is that you can check to see if you have cell coverage wherever you may be traveling globally. And when you look at it, you can click on your carrier and travel where you plan to travel to see how well your coverage is. Well, when you look at this website, you have to keep in mind there are many carriers that you can select. Many carriers use many of the same cell phone towers. So it's an accumulative frequency that's literally being bathed. I mean, we have an out-of-control telecom industry. In fact, I just recently received a communication from Barry Trower, and he said that the communication industry is in the position where it is spiraling out of any one person's ability to control it. And this is an open letter, and he talks about how the communications industry, because of its usefulness to the government, finance, and intelligence gathering and warfare, is really in the position where it is spiraling out of anyone's ability to control it with regard to advancing technology.
Yes. Ms. Tavares, one last break, and then we're going to come back and conclude this segment. If you would, we'll be back in 2 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Ms. Deborah Tavares will be wrapping up her segment here, and then right after that, Dr. Robert Duncan. So back to back, the heaviest, in these topics anywhere in the world, being brought to you right here on the Guerrilla Media Network. We'll be right back. Infidel Body Armor, made in the USA, an Oath Keeper and disabled veteran-owned business in Texas, selling to U.S. patriots concerned about any type of ballistic threats when it hits the fan, not just law enforcement and military. The engineers at Infidel have designed lightweight, wearable, and durable body armor with life-saving reliability, made with military-grade steel and capable of withstanding hit after hit from high-velocity, large-caliber rounds. From rapid deployment systems to tailored models, Infidel Body Armor has all the right gear, especially suited for any grid-down situation. Infidel Body Armor sold at a fraction of the typical cost for police and military gear, which is designed to be replaced after ballistic impact. Remember, in the middle of societal collapse, replacement ceramic and Kevlar will not be easily found. Infidel's Armor Combo with plate carrier, front and back plate start at $375. Visit GuerrillaMediaNetwork.com/infidel to check out Infidel's Body Armor and make sure you let them know you heard about them on the Guerrilla Media Network.
Hi folks, Ronnie McMullen here, talking to you about the immune system. As a talk show host, one of the major topics is health. It seems there are powers that be that want and desire the public to be sick. These are huge topics discussed on my show, but there is a way to combat this sick system. Life Change Tea. Life Change Tea is an all-natural product that gently cleanses your inside, gives you more energy, and builds your immune system. All organic and a natural weapon against toxicity. Customers have been buying year supplies to make sure they're prepared and healthy. Interested? You should be. Log on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com, or you can call us direct at 928-308-0408. That's 928-308-0408. On the Ronnie McMullen Show, these topics get covered. On the Get the Tea website, these topics are addressed. Get rid of the dis before ease. You'll just be left at ease. That's getthetea.com.
You observed him smacking well-to-do girls in the butt. The Pete Santilli Show, the flagship show of the Guerrilla Media Network. I believe, don't mess with me and don't take my stuff. You see these fists? I'm gonna use them to beat the F out of you.
The Pete Santilli Show.
Even above and beyond the state-run, CIA-infiltrated media.
You're listening to The Pete Santilli Show
on the Guerrilla Media Network. Okay, very, very important topics. Okay, but most importantly, here's how we're beginning this mind control marathon is to tell you the following. That you can look up this information. The information is out there. StopTheCrime.net. Ms. Deborah Tavares has put together almost a library, per se, of information you can access. We all have an obligation at this point in time to force ourselves to awaken, don't we, Ms. Tavares?
Well, absolutely. And again, we're talking about how do we get from where we are now to the desired goals of those that wish to literally transform human beings and literally annihilate the bulk of the human population. But what we need to understand is in these climate action plans, this is boots on the ground right now. Everybody must get engaged and have meetings. This is a conversation that will not be so far out there for most people. And I can tell you that they're requiring smart meters, as I said before the break. They're also requiring retrofitting of all your inefficient appliances in your homes to RFID chipped Energy Star electric appliances. Keep in mind, Energy Star does not make gas. They're eliminating gas. Now, why are they telling us that we have to have energy audits within our homes? Right now, the Department of Energy is training assessors, and along with your local code enforcement officers, they will be conducting in-home energy audits to make sure that your homes are efficient. And they will track, monitor with your zip code the number of people that live in your home, the square footage, and whether you've got windows that need replacing. Some of these things are not bad. Added insulation, leaks. You've got to replace every and anything. Your bathroom fans, your heat and air systems, everything must be Energy Star rated. Now, why are they telling us that we have to do all of this? The climate action plans, again, these are lawless corporate statutes, and they're based upon fraudulent science, creating target dates for cities to reduce greenhouse gas, which is, of course, CO2, in order to prevent climate change. And we know, there's over 31,000 Americans and even Russian scientists that have stated that we could reduce our greenhouse gas emissions 100%, and it would not change the climate or the weather at all. In fact, we need CO2. It's necessary for all life on the earth. Without it, we would perish. This is all part of the virtual reality. This is all part of creating lies as truth and truth as lies. So I can say to you, with the increased frequencies, with all of the RFID chipped appliances, pulsating microwave frequencies through our bodies, again, greater intrusion homes, absolutely mind control, absolutely flow cell death, is the real cooking of humanity on so many levels. And we need to support one another as we go through this process. We need to get this information out. You've got to go to your local city council meetings. Even though they will not listen, they're incorporated. They're working. They're on Dun & Brad Street for profits, and they do not do business for you. You're talking to the people that show up at these meetings. Put magnetic bumper stickers and signs on your vehicles. Carry flyers with you. We are the enemy. We are at war. We're being targeted with frequencies. We're being targeted by the toxins in every imaginable consumer processed foods, everything. In fact, I can tell you the assault is on. You had mentioned before the break, Pete, about the wildlands. These climate action plans tell us that if you are not within the city growth boundaries, if you are outside of the city growth boundaries, your property is considered sprawl and unsustainable. And in the Pittsburgh Climate Action Plan version 2.0, you will read this. They say that manufacturing of and production of meat must stop. It is too high in emissions of greenhouse gas. And the bringing it into the cities for distribution, they are really in that plan and others talking about meatless, eliminating farms, eliminating meat. Anything with a face is not sustainable. Any animal, anything with a face is not sustainable. And I can tell you the whole idea of going local, we found in an institute, this is extremely important to understand. Well, before I say that, Energy Star Resources have partnered with the United Nations and the EPA. Again, the EPA is a corporate agency. It does not serve us. It was put in place, again, through executive order to take down through corporate heavy-handedness our entire system, along with all of the other aspects of this agency setup that we are all really living under, the CIA, FBI, FDA, CDC, et cetera. It's all part of the corporate structure. But again, on stopthecrime.net, under the Climate Action Plan link, print off the flyers that we have there. We found on the National Standards Institute website that they say that they play an important role in creating international standards that support worldwide sale of products, which prevent regions from using local standards. So go local. The whole idea of going local and being self-sufficient is a very good idea. But sadly, they have been hijacked. And I can say to you that when you've got an agency that is corralling us in these cities, collapsing our country rural infrastructure, literally deploying cell phone towers by the thousands every single day. We just saw a new one that has just been completed, probably one of the largest ones we have spotted to date here in Northern California just yesterday. But I want to say that, again, read the Great American Adventure, Secrets of America. Understand what you need to know going forward. And the Silent Weapons, Quiet Wars. They're all free downloads. For those of you that cannot download for free, you can contact the print shop for the cost of printing and shipping. They will send you these documents by calling area code 707-586-9558. Again, 707-586-9558.
Deborah Tavares, once again, thank you so much. Mind Control Marathon. This is a 6-hour information fest that we're going to have, and you are certainly contributing. And I thank you for your service to our country at a time when we need you the most. Thank you very much. StopTheCrime.net. This will not be the last time that we hear from Deborah Tavares, but thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Pete.
Ladies and gentlemen, stay right there. Dr. Robert Duncan coming up right after this.
Around the world, 24/7, everyone's listening to the Guerrilla Media Network.
If you enjoy the outdoor life or are preparing for any type of emergency, then you will need the world-renowned Kelly Kettle. The Kelly Kettle is an outdoor camp stove and kettle used to boil water ultra fast. The Kelly Kettle is the original water boiling kettle that works ultra fast using only sticks and twigs or whatever else you find that will burn. Don't waste your precious resources on heavy batteries and fuels. For over 100 years, this unique kettle has made boiling water in the outdoors quick and easy, even in the most extreme weather conditions. Whether you are cooking or boiling, you will appreciate the compact, lightweight design, super reliability, and a rugged durability that will last a lifetime. If your life depended on the features of an outdoor pro at a casual camper price, you would go to www.kellykettleusa.com. Enter Pete10 for 10% off whichever Kelly Kettle size fits you, your family best.
Aloha, this is Tahiti Joe, the maker of Tahiti Joe's Hot Sauces and the Maui Pepper Company.
The saga of Tahiti Joe's hot sauces is a very tasty story. Tahiti Joe went exploring the South Seas for the spices and was easily sidetracked. But don't tell his lady.
Then, after a few months, Tahiti Joe blended a beautiful array of spices with clam juice and honey.
It had a sweet tropical flavor, and with the heat of the peppers, it reminded him of the islands.
Tahiti Joe had to name the new sauce, and Tahiti Joe's Hot Sauces was born. Try it as a chicken wing sauce.
Barbecue, marinade,
or use it to create a delicious Polynesian Mary.
So, visit www.tahitijoeshotsauces.com today to satisfy your cravings for
tropical taste sensation.
www.tahitijoeshotsauces.com. Infidel Body Armor, made in the USA, an Oath Keeper and disabled veteran-owned business in Texas, selling to U.S. patriots concerned about any type of ballistic threats when it hits the fan, not just law enforcement and military. The engineers at Infidel have designed lightweight, wearable, and durable body armor with life-saving reliability, made with military-grade steel and capable of withstanding hit after hit from high-velocity, large-caliber rounds. From rapid deployment systems to tailored models, Infidel Body Armor has all the right gear, especially suited for any grid-down situation. Infidel Body Armor sold at a fraction of the typical cost for police and military gear, which is designed to be replaced after ballistic impact. Remember, in the middle of societal collapse, replacement ceramic and Kevlar will not be easily found. Infidel's Armor Combo with plate carrier, front and back plate start at $375. Visit GorillaMediaNetwork.com/infidel to check out Infidel's Body Armor and make sure you let them know you heard about them on the Gorilla Media Network.
Life Change Tea detoxifies. GetTheTea.com. It's only about $1 a day. GetTheTea.com. Receive more energy. GetTheTea.com. Lose weight. GetTheTea.com. It's purifying. GetTheTea.com. It works immediately. GetTheTea.com. It's too easy. GetTheTea.com. We challenge you. GetTheTea.com. What's the phone number? 928-308-0408. What did you say? 928-308-0408. I didn't get that. 928-308-0408. Will it work? Yes. GetTheTea.com. Unmatched. GetTheTea.com. This gets in your head. GetTheTea.com. That's the idea.
A double-blind study showed that individuals with abdominal obesity who took 300 milligrams of this one supplement for 8 weeks had a significant reduction in abdominal body fat and body weight. Those who took the supplement lost 5 times the amount from their waistline compared to those who took a placebo. Find out what supplement it is and the best source of it by calling and listening to this free recorded message at 866-844-1047. That's 866-844-1047. 866-844-1047.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to, I say always, strap yourselves in, put on your seatbelt, put on your fire suit. I'm going to say to everybody, yeah, sure. I know what this means to put on your tinfoil hat. And you're going to find out the reason why. Dr. Robert Duncan is the author of Project Soul Catcher, Secrets of Cyber and Cybernetic Warfare. Revealed, of course. Now, Project Soul Catcher is one of his books. Another one that Ken Rhoades sent to me is a book titled How to Tame a Demon, a short practical guide to organized intimidation, stalking, electronic torture, and mind control. And Dr. Robert Duncan has been a researcher of bioeffects of electromagnetic weapons for over a decade. His activism is focused on plausible denial torture, interrogations, the creation of programmed assassins. Can you imagine? I just almost choked on my words. And other mind control techniques. He studied at Stanford, MIT, Harvard, Dartmouth, Lake Forest, and other universities. His enthusiasm as a scientist has been in cutting-edge innovation and artificial intelligence systems. He's worked on projects, ladies and gentlemen, for the CIA, for the Department of Defense, the Department of Justice, and NASA. Such projects have included writing the artificial intelligence code to track submarines around the world, acoustic sniper urban triangulation systems, integrating the databases between federal, state, and local law enforcement, telerobotic surgery and medicine, EEG controls of robots, wearable computer systems, and statistical arbitrage in finance, just to mention a few. So it's only fitting. I've heard his name over and over again from all of the TIs. As I've always said, I'm a targeted individual as well. And Dr. Robert Duncan thereby became a targeted individual by me, and we sought him out, and he joins me right now. Dr. Robert Duncan, welcome to the Pete Santilli Show, sir.
Well, thank you very much. How are you doing, Mr. Santilli?
I'm doing great. This has been an interesting journey, and I've very much looked forward to speaking to you. And you know, I want to get started in the following fashion. I found out through a very nice, a beautiful woman named Amy Anderson. She was actually here on one of the other shows on GMN, and I listened, and I said, oh my goodness, is what she's saying true? And I started Googling and researching. My research hasn't stopped. And when I started reading through your book, I not only realized that that you've been likely subjected to mind control. I take it you're very well aware of what this is about, but you've helped develop this technology, have you not?
I unfortunately was involved in certain aspects of the technology and was unaware at the time how it was going to be put together and used on my own population, nonetheless.
Isn't that the way they're able to get away with this technologically? Is they compartmentalize? They say develop these applications that the public would want to use. You know, let's say like an iPad application, and the public's using it when in fact they're using a portion of that technology for this very, very evil thing behind the scenes, aren't they?
Well, and that's always been the case. They lure promising scientists and saying, look, you're going to work on protecting the United States from enemies. You're going to work on cutting edge technologies to read brains, and this will help paralyze people walk again. And they do the positive spin of the technologies while, in fact, they want the military uses. It's an age-old story, and I succumb to that naivety.
Yes. Are you a what they call a TI? Do you believe you're a TI yourself?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
But I have had a demonstration of the technology.
So you know the effects of it. You've worked on portions of the technology and didn't understand what the applications were. How were you made aware that this stuff is real and can in fact communicate with the human mind?
Yeah, my research started over a decade ago, and I was very much into bionics and brain-to-computer interfacing technologies, and I came across this segment that basically said what I was working for had already been done. And that's where my studies began. And the people that are most vocal are those being tortured and brainwashed by the systems, the technologies. So I focused on those people. I interviewed about 850 people.
Wow.
Found the best ones, started trying to generalize all the experiences that they were having, and it was amazing how much they all had in common, what was being done to them. So I tabulated that up into the book, Project Soul Catcher, and it matched up with both how to hack computer systems, hacking the actual mind itself, as well as I read through the 1,000+ page torture memos that were released in Obama's early years against the CIA's wishes, and it matched up also with their interrogation and torture methods. So it's fascinating. They found a new way to torture people, brainwash them, interrogate them, using this wireless technology of reading the brain and inducing pain signals, and hence it's has been called behavioral modification by the CIA. The CIA actually has a long history of these government programs. Many of the government mind control programs use trauma-based conditioning. And here's a short list of revealed programs. Started with Project Bluebird, initiated in 1949. It was the first behavioral modification program. Bluebird morphed into Project Artichoke to create programmed assassins and split personality spies. Then the CIA added to the goals of the program into its most famous mind control program, MK Ultra, for espionage, counter-espionage, and clandestine manipulation of global politics. Thousands of pages were declassified on this program during the 90s Frank Church hearings. These programs were followed by other new names and budgets such as MK Delta, MK Surge, Chatter, Spellbinder, McNomie, etc. And the current programs are classified, but MK Ultra continues in new forms and under new names and new budgets. And it's a form of trauma-induced mind control, often called monarch programming. And some scientists I worked with, we labeled ourselves the Mind Hacking Strategy Group, was a consortium of conscientious scientists who reported the abuses of science. And their leaks said the newest project names follow Disney themes like Sleeping Beauty and et cetera. So there is a long history where the U.S. government has been trying to do that and continues to do it now under the guise of microwave mind control, or ELF mind control.
Dr. Duncan, stay right there. We're going to take a break here, and then when we come back, we'll go right to the top of the hour. When we come back, I want to talk about your work with the government on your projects. Susanna, what's the best way to stay warm this winter?
Oh, that's easy. It's Tahiti Joe's hot sauces.
Okay, but what flavor?
Well, that's not so easy because there's so many to choose from.
Polynesian,
Tropic garlic,
Tahiti ahi,
volcano ahi,
camel toe hot sauce.
Analyze this.
Quadruple X ghost pepper hot sauce.
Aloha, this is Tahiti Joe, the maker of Tahiti Joe's hot sauces and the Maui Pepper Company. All of our sauces are made with a beautiful array of ingredients with no preservatives added, and are prepared with a tropical passion for that perfect balance of flavor and heat delivered directly to you.
So warm up your winter with the tropical taste sensations from www.TahitiJoesHotSauces.com.
Tahiti Joe's hot sauces. Get some today.
Hi folks, Ronnie McMullen here, talking to you about the immune system. As a talk show host, one of the major topics is health. It seems there are powers that be that want and desire the public to be sick. These are huge topics discussed on my show, but there is a way to combat this sick system. Life Change Tea. Life Change Tea is an all-natural product that gently cleanses your inside, gives you more energy, and builds your immune system. All organic and a natural weapon against toxicity. Customers have been buying year supplies to make sure they're prepared and healthy. Interested? You should be. Log on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com, or you can call us direct at 928-308-0408. That's 928-308-0408. On the Ronnie McMullen Show, these topics get covered. On the Get the Tea website, these topics are addressed. Get rid of the dis before ease. You'll just be left at ease. That's getthetea.com.
If you enjoy the outdoor life or are preparing for any type of emergency, then you will need the world-renowned Kelly Kettle. The Kelly Kettle is an outdoor camp stove and kettle used to boil water ultra fast. The Kelly Kettle is the original water boiling kettle that works ultra fast using only sticks and twigs or whatever else you find that will burn. Don't waste your precious resources on heavy batteries and fuels. For over 100 years, this unique kettle has made boiling water in the outdoors quick and easy, even in the most extreme weather conditions. Whether you are cooking or boiling, you will appreciate the compact, lightweight design, super reliability, and a rugged durability that will last a lifetime. If your life depended on the features of an outdoor pro at a casual camper price, you would go to www.kellykettleusa.com. Enter Pete10 for 10% off whichever Kelly Kettle size fits you or your family best.
Live from the Overthrow Bunker and FEMA Region 9, you're listening to The Pete Santilli Show.
Okay, we're calling this the Mind Control Marathon, and we've invited, and he's been so gracious to spend this time with me, Dr. Robert Duncan. He's an author. Let's go right back to him. And I said right before we went to the break, I wanted to ask him about his work because he's been exposing the mind control research atrocities that are being done on the human race by the government. They've wanted to, quote unquote, improve their techniques. Now, you obviously, in your capacity as a scientist, wanted to do your research. They've benefited from that research, obviously, for very malicious things, haven't they?
They sure have, and you know that's why I ultimately came forward. I have not released any government secrets that I had sworn to uphold, but as long as I can find a non-classified source, I'm in the clear, so I can talk about those topics.
Sir, do you mind if I interrupt you right there?
No,
I ask
no.
you a very important question. Now, I bet you can say yes or no to this. So it is, in fact, much worse than what is in the public right now, isn't it?
Oh, far worse. Far worse. And in fact, I don't see a way to stop it.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. I'm very rarely speechless and stunned.
I wish I could give you more hope.
No, you know what though? That sense of hopelessness. I've been talking about this in the past couple of days. That sense of hopelessness. We can focus our energy on doing the following. As far as a militant non-resistant, a militant nonviolent resistance, part of that is informing the public, because I believe the greatest weapon we have on the planet Earth is 7 billion people who are wide awake to all of this.
Absolutely, but this weapon system actually takes control of the very people's motivation to rise up and to care what's happening. So in the 1970s, for example, the Russians were beaming a psychotronic signal over the U.S., according to an Army intelligence officer. And so we beamed it back at them, but they said what it was supposed to do was to calm down our population as if we were the aggressors. Now, imagine if we are doing that to our population and explain why we are not revolting, why we don't seem to care anymore. And so if you can actually lull a population under this spell, this hypnotic spell, they'll never rise up. Even if they're given the right information, they just won't care.
Are certain people resistant to it, sir? And I'm sorry to interrupt you. Like people like me, I'm so resistant to it. I'm very, very vocal. This show exists because I wanted to get out there to try to awaken people. Are there people that are resistant to it? Can I avoid it?
Yeah. Absolutely. Nothing is 100%. But
right.
The Russians also had another theory. If you could take control of just 10,000 people in the United States, you could control the entire evolution of that country's culture.
Wow.
So they don't need to take control of everybody.
Yes, sir. The programs that you worked on, obviously, some of which are highly classified. And I'd like you to kind of take us through this process. They've worked for decades figuring out how to communicate with the human mind by bypassing our eyes and ears. Is that the essence of what they've been able to do? Is to get to our brains?
Yes. In interpreting the neural code. So we can talk about some of the technologies, like many TIs will mention DEWs, and DEWs stands for directed energy weapons. And that's a very generic classification of weapons such as lasers or masers or particle beam weapons. They can have detrimental effects. A better classification title would be resonance weapons, which actually will add energy into your cellular structure. Your cells communicate through electricity as well as hormones and other signaling mechanisms. And you can interfere with that signaling mechanisms, add information or take out information that's needed for the body to function. In particular, I focus on the nerve cells. How do you influence nerve cells? And there are a couple of technologies in the public domain, such as ultrasonic heterodyning. You can stimulate specific regions of the brain wearing a helmet. There's one called the microwave hearing effect, which bypasses the ears, and it actually adds what's called specific absorption rate of energy into the brain, making it ever so slightly expand and contract, which then bypasses the inner ear, and you can hear a voice. But it gets far more complex. So when you actually decode the brain, you can have the target brain amplify a specific signal just for that target in the brain for the audio cortex, which then bypasses all these other techniques. And it takes a little while for the brain to learn to adapt to its new interface. But the same can be done with the visual cortex, but not that well. And in the very best conditions, if you interview TIs, yes, they can see through in their so-called third eye, which is called the visual workspace in psychology, what is going on the other side. So it's a kind of bidirectional link between two human beings. Then we can get into cybernetic hive minds, where they're experimenting with combining more than one human being's mind to each other. And the successful ones seem to be around about 4 people is all they can do, but they're networking them. So they're determining how much of an influence one mind has when connected to another mind. And then you can imagine this as a warfare tool, that you want to control somebody with their finger on nuclear weapons. And so you can try to control that person, but you don't want that person having feedback from the handlers. So there's a famous article called "The Mind Has No Firewall," and that is true. Right now they're trying to develop specific types of firewall using this technology, which is often called EEG cloning. You're trying to entrain the brain's signals as well as cognitively model the target brain. And two brains are very good over time of learning each other's signals. When we're born, we can't interpret speech. We can't see clearly. We don't know what the world is about. Well, the brain is always self-organizing. So if you continue a particular signal over the brain, over time, brain will adapt and start listening to that particular communication channel. And it's a little more complex than that, but that's the basic gist.
Have they relied on us evolving genetically? Have they been able to alter us genetically and say, okay, we have to wait 3 generations for the human body to adapt to this new, as you called it, the new interface?
No, it doesn't have that much to do with genetics, other than the directed energy weapons are experimenting with cancer rates. You can break the hydrogen bond in the DNA and cause, use it as a slow kill weapon. And you can also entrain the heart the heart's rhythm and cause arrhythmias. Certain microwave frequencies will also cause a certain peptide creation that causes heart disease. So they're looking at all bioeffects of all across the energy spectrum and how they could use it for warfare or to subdue a population.
Right.
So no, it doesn't take 3 generations, but it takes probably about a good 6 months before they can perfectly heterodyne a targeted individual.
Wow. Well, 6 months, your body is adapting to its new input then. Wow.
Yeah, it's new input, which is overriding your normal input, your 5 senses. So in a sense, if you're a clone to another human being, you would have 10 senses. And there are obviously many problems when you do that. But
now, are you saying that they have attempted to network human beings, or they have been successful in doing that?
They have been successful. In fact, there's a global brain project underway, which, like the Borg, they hope to network every human being on Earth. And you can imagine the benefits. We have, we used to have snail mail, then we had cell phones and email, and we're communicating faster and faster. So eventually we want to be able to think, we want to be able to pull up internet data with just our thoughts and be able to call people and talk to them and network with them in a cybernetic hive mind as quick as you can think.
Telepathically.
So this is I'm sorry, go ahead.
Telepathically. They want us to be able to communicate that way, and you say that they've been successful in making that connection from one human mind to the next.
Absolutely, yeah.
Wow.
There's much proof of that. In fact, the Army published a paper that they want to do this for soldiers, but anything they publish, you can imagine the technology is 50 years more advanced than what they allow the public to know.
Yes, sir. And if you don't mind, I'm probably going to step into a realm that you may not feel 100% comfortable with, but don't worry about it, because nobody is. Everyone that I ask about US Ignite, it's a moniker that has been given to this program that back in '87, the military industrial complex, they took the old obsolete internet, the old slow one, they made that available for commercial application. And then they said, we need something lickety-split, gigabit fast, and we need to start developing that. So in '87, they said, how are we going to be able to do this? It's cost prohibitive. Let's form a partnership with big business, with corporations. So in '87, the NSF said, let's start pumping money. Let's give out grants. Let's have, with this internet, let's have these companies develop these applications independently, that are going to be used and they'll make money in the marketplace. So US Ignite, started in '87. Are you familiar with this system that I'm referring to, the second internet?
Only because I've listened to your show.
Oh,
and
really?
Then I
Okay,
looked
that's
it up and
outstanding.
did some research.
Okay, excellent. Let's just have a conversation about it, because I think there may be some applications for this second internet. I want to get your input as to what you've been able to determine through your research. I'm with Dr. Robert Duncan. You guys, right now I was speechless earlier. I'm absolutely floored because I hadn't even considered the thought of connecting us telepathically, and they've done it. Whoa! Infidel Body Armor, made in the USA, an Oath Keeper and disabled veteran-owned business in Texas, selling to U.S. patriots concerned about any type of ballistic threats when it hits the fan, not just law enforcement and military. The engineers at Infidel have designed lightweight, wearable, and durable body armor with life-saving reliability, made with military-grade steel and capable of withstanding hit after hit from high-velocity, large-caliber rounds. From rapid deployment systems to tailored models, Infidel Body Armor has all the right gear, especially suited for any grid-down situation. Infidel Body Armor sold at a fraction of the typical cost for police and military gear, which is designed to be replaced after ballistic impact. Remember, in the middle of societal collapse, replacement ceramic and Kevlar will not be easily found. Infidel's armor combo with plate carrier, front and back plate start at $375. Visit GorillaMediaNetwork.com/infidel to check out Infidel's body armor, and make sure you let them know you heard about them on the Gorilla Media Network.
This is Audio Soldier from the Sunday Night Reboot Show with this special message. GMN needs the support of each of our listeners since we will never take a dime from major corporations. Your contributions are not only appreciated, they are critical to maintaining our independence and loyalty to our listeners. Please visit www.gmn.is or GuerrillaMediaNetwork.com and click on the donate button now. Our donors and members will have access to our chat rooms, forums, and daily downloads of commercial-free iTunes podcasts. Please donate now.
GMN is giving the finger to the NSA.
We came, we saw, he died.
Thank you very much. I'm here to tell you right off the bat that I am not guilty of any criminal wrongdoing, that I intend to stay on the job, and I will fight this thing every step of the way. I will fight, until I take my last breath. I have done nothing wrong.
I'm with Dr. Robert Duncan.
And turning it over to a computer.
Okay, and as you can tell, we're skipping the top of the hour news break because of our very important guest. Dr. Robert Duncan is probably, just with the impact that he's had on me personally, just within the first 30 minutes of our conversation, the enormity of what we're talking about. Now, I stumbled into US Ignite recently. It is a moniker. It is something that when I dug through and I went down the rabbit hole to find out the genesis of this program, I discovered that the NSF back in '87 said, hey, okay, well, we've got this Internet number one. We're going to roll that out. And as you know, the dot-com boom flourished as a result of that. Then they said, okay, we need this gigabit system, this secondary Internet, super high-speed Internet to get it up and running and available to have it do what we need it to do. So this has been in the works since '87. We'll talk more about that. This second Internet has evolved. They've paid for it. It's in place. They're now talking about it openly. Based on your preliminary research into this thing, Dr. Duncan, have you been able to see that this system is going to be very helpful with some of the applications that you've been developing as a scientist?
It's what honestly, my only fear is the second Internet is going to be censored. Yes. Right now, the United States ranks 46th in the world for free press. And so I've heard leaks about the second Internet many years ago, and that was my major concern. I think, you can't stop technology. Technology evolves faster than human genetics.
Sure.
And so this is definitely a transhuman state that we're going through with our species. It's an evolutionary cataclysmic event, and we're watching it right in real time. And you can't really stop it. Mm-hmm. So the question is, what are your fears of this second Internet?
Well, no, my fears are absolutely that, and I'm glad you honed in on that. The controls. I fear that we will have to play along with the fascist system they've set up, this partnership. If we play along, then we'll have access to a faster Internet. If we don't, and we want to opt out of certain things, we're going to have to go along with a much slower Internet. And I think that's a very unfair.
Well, that's the way all of the technologies are going to be rolled in, being it whether we're microchipped or not.
Yeah.
They'll tout all the medical benefits and not having to carry a wallet around, and people are going to sign on. It's just like if they came out with a chip that can increase your intelligence 100 times. Well, in order to compete, you'll have to have that chip put in your head too.
Right.
So I don't know how it can be stopped.
Now that leads me to my next question of you, because I noticed that, for instance, I have a background in telecommunications, and I was with Bell South, and I understood that a certain portion of the spectrum of the communication spectrum in 900, the upper end of 900 megahertz, was reserved for government application. Now, this is lesser technology. We don't even need a second internet. Isn't it true that with 900 or so megahertz, that you can pretty much penetrate concrete walls, and you can do this communication through that frequency? Now, this is from a novice's perspective here, so please don't think that I'm trying to pretend that I know something. I'm here to ask you: is that true that the 900 megahertz spectrum is all we need just to communicate with the human mind?
Well, it's and below, there was a few researchers. I think Dr. Delgado said I can control every function of the human mind at 450 megahertz. The bandwidth is enough for sure for a human mind. And it really depends on the intensity. I mean, light will go through a wall if it were bright enough.
Right.
And then and usually lower the wavelength, deeper the penetration into earth or buildings you'll have. So 900 megahertz seems to work well with, cell phones. The old cell phones worked on that.
Sure. Yeah.
And,
now I'm asking this question because, obviously if we start talking about how to block, those frequencies, is there any way? I mean, have they figured out so many different ways to penetrate every bit of material? There's no way to block out with excuse the expression, a tinfoil hat, is there?
No, a tinfoil hat won't work.
Wow. Okay.
I think that was started by the government because that actually, some MIT students, sort of tongue in cheek, did their thesis on this topic, and they said, well, the government really is reading body resonance signatures. Putting tinfoil on your head actually increases the reception. You turn yourself into an antenna, so it has a reverse effect.
It does. Wow. Okay. Now, here's my next thing: smart meters and this smart meter grid. Does this have anything to do? Do you believe, based on your research, that these smart meters are part of this control grid of communicating with us in each of our households?
Oh, you're outside my realm of expertise. Okay. I have not studied that.
Okay, and the reason why I ask that is because if you can imagine, our homes are filled with copper wire. There's electricity. I mean, I just see these smart meters, the cell phone towers, and all this stuff being used combined to turn our homes into just communication devices. We're living in microwave ovens. But let's step outside of the home. The system known as HARP. Is HARP used, and I've been told this by Dr. Nick Begich. He said we don't need to worry about the weather modification aspects of HARP. Is HARP being used for mind control, do you believe?
I actually believe it is, but mind control, the first victims that I could track back were in the 60s. We barely just launched a satellite at that time, and we started seeing victims in the 60s. This wireless mind control technology, and then in '76 there was a big boost of targets that came forward, and then after 9/11, and you also the number of people that come forward and talk about it seem to be in line with new, bigger military budgets. You'll keep seeing a jump, but after 9/11, there were a lot of people grabbed. And so I actually don't think the smart meter stuff is necessary for any of this technology. HARP was built in 1991, but there were 7 other ionospheric heaters, or ISONDEs, as they call them, around the world. So they actually do fall into the category of what could be used with the frequencies necessary for mind control over populations.
Now, Dr. Duncan, I don't know how much you've studied or are aware of Nikola Tesla's science, but I do know, we do know in the public that his research papers have been confiscated, nowhere to be found. Does Nikola Tesla, his work, have an impact on this technology that we're referring to?
It could. I studied, his work as best I could, and some interesting points that go against modern scientific principles on the most part, but are called scalar waves. And he was able to light an entire, garden with light bulbs like 200 miles away using this kind of transmitted technology for energy. And there could be something to it. But
could be. Okay, so
I just can't say.
Yeah, yes, sir. I appreciate your answer. I do. The thing is being financed, and it has been over many, many decades. This research that you've been involved in. Who do you think is financing this thing? Obviously, there's a big entity behind it, and we can refer to them as the.
Yeah, well, you can answer that question. Who has the money? Who has the money to build a worldwide system to do this to about 10,000 people in the world? The Department of Defense, the CIA obviously knows the interrogation and brainwashing tactics. Yeah. The NSA, they get their information from about every individual on Earth, which is necessary for the brainwashing as well. So all the agencies play their role at one point or another, but the U.S. government is the superpower, the super mafia of the world right now.
Sure.
And so they're the only ones that could possibly.
So, and if you were to say, and I balance this out and I say to myself, okay, if it is the quote unquote, the global elite, let's say the queen with the crown, and she says, I want to achieve immortality and we will pump all money we can into developing this stuff. Is there a select few individuals that say, wow, I want to be immortal. I want to get us to the point to where by the time I leave the planet Earth, I want to be able to clone myself.
Oh, isn't that everybody's goal? Absolutely. In fact, one of the calculations I did a few years ago was how much would it cost to put a human brain into silicon form if Intel were manufacturing it? And it would cost $333 million. Now, the problem is you got to transfer all the memories and the personality as best you can. Mm-hmm. And those algorithms take time. But yes, if I had $1 billion, I'd say, yeah, sure. Let's make immortality a reality.
Okay. So now, based on your research and the applications that you've seen, is this just straight? Is it a military application as far as controlling the minds of a populace? Because I mean, I just can't imagine anyone with good intentions to use this technology. Nothing good can come out of it. Is it for military purposes?
Yeah. Well. That's a good question. And since I just studied the negative effects, the militarized effects, obviously for spying, wow, if you can look through someone's eyes and hear what they're hearing, that's a great spy tool. Mm-hmm. For military, you can imagine you can broadcast a signal to make the enemy troops fatigued or hear the voice of God. All it says is lay down your guns. But there are positive uses of any technology, and I can give you some. Imagine you don't want people to fight and riot, and you want to produce calm. Well, there is a calming effect signal. Mm-hmm. How about if we connected all our politicians or all the country's leaders together in a cybernetic hive mind? You cannot lie under those conditions. You're reading each other's thoughts, so you would come to some sort of agreement. You could see how that might bring peace. Maybe a criminal investigation. You can actually go into someone's mind and say, yes, they've been there. I can, they killed this person. How about all the pharmaceutical drugs we have of, Prozac? Rather than putting Prozac in the water, you can empower the person to actually be able to tune their moods using these kinds of technologies rather than having to take drugs. You can accelerate learning. You can enhance the intellect, and you can modify your behavior. If you smoke or you want to exercise more, well, these are behavior modification techniques. So there are positive applications once we take this out of the military's hands, the intelligence agency's hands. There will be a way to empower human beings to be more than they are and to have more control over their minds than less, and having someone enslave us. So it's a double-edged sword.
It's an enslavement system, and I want to spend the remaining balance of our time talking to those people that have been subjected, just treated as laboratory rats in this experiment. But, sir, one thing that is very disturbing that I'm noticing is that they're using what we used to consider, espionage in the Cold War sense, a means, to defend our nation, to acquire that intelligence information. But I believe now, even with the release of some of this NSA stuff from Snowden, that they're using it for corporate espionage to gain a political advantage. Are they not using that in a very dangerous sense right now? Are you noticing that?
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt about it. But that's been going on since the age of time. Is corporate, the United States is a corporation, and China does it, Russia does it. We try to steal each other's corporate secrets, military secrets, give each other an advantage. And those that have access to this technology absolutely will have an advantage, an unfair advantage, to compete against their rivals, and that can be political, and that's really the downfall of democracy. Is now all this NSA, we see Clapper lying to Congress, General Hayden lying constantly to, these NSA guys. They just, in order to keep everything secret from even Congress, they have to lie. And the problem is you can manipulate any democracy in the world. Hence, it's not a democracy anymore with these technologies.
We certainly don't have a democracy anymore. And now I read the book, How to Tame a Demon. And I sensed that and this is before I knew you were the author of it, but I said the author of this book is a very compassionate person that understands what impact this technology has on humanity. And we have a group of people who've been experimented with for decades now. What inspired you to write this? Obviously, a lot of compassion to say, you know what, I know what you're going through. I understand what's happening here, and here's how you're to deal with it. What inspired you to do this book?
And it's the same inspiration for all my books. As I believe through understanding, through knowledge, that these targeted individuals can come to methods of coping with their newfound existence, and that they won't get as panicked. They won't feel the terror, and this is domestic terrorism. If they can understand why it's being done to them, who's behind it, the typical questions. So for my last book, which was Project Soulcatcher, some people thought it was a little too scientific, and they asked me, could you write a book that's fairly simple that everyone can understand and will give some practical advice? And that was the motivation for How to Tame a Demon.
Now, you said we opened up by saying that there's no way to stop this, and at the same time, I asked you if there's an individual who could possibly resist it just by. Can you resist it by knowing, or
yeah?
Or we're gonna skip this and go all the way to the 30-minute mark. Sorry.
Okay.
How can we avoid it? What can we do?
Well, there are psychological methods, which if you're a confident person, and imagine you're at a boot camp and someone's trying to break you down, say you're a worm unless you're part of our gang. If you have a strong mind, you won't succumb to that form of indoctrination. In fact, that's part of the experimentation that they're doing across all languages, all cultures, all walks of life, all classes. It's more of a random selection, even though you'll hear from TIs that they think it's their dentist that did it or somebody else. That's generally just a red herring. And they're testing interrogation techniques, personality classification, and loyalty affiliations. And they want to induce a track record of mental illness for discrediting purposes. This is in the CIA documents. They want to look at their indoctrination success methods, their manipulation methods, how to change people's belief systems, modify those. There's a large range of applications. The one that disturbs me the most is that it looks like they're attempting to create an invisible army around the world for false flag operations, sort of like Operations Northwoods. Remember that, where they were going to look like Cuba had attacked us.
Right.
And so using these people to go out on killing sprees and other things, well, then they'll take away our gun rights. And then if you don't have gun rights, well, you can't overthrow a tyrannous government. So I think part of it is that, as well as it could be used for a eugenics program. But rather than having a specific genetic line you're trying to get rid of, there are specific minds you want to get rid of. Those that are most difficult, the dissenters, those that question authority. You'd want to go after those people and see if you could change them.
Right.
And I think that's what you'll find with the TIs.
And you know what this is, and to share this story that I tell about myself. I mean, I feel that I'm super hyper awakened to this stuff, and it's just happened within the past couple of years. Now, it's caused me to become a little bit more isolationist, meaning that, and what I mean by isolationist, not in a negative sense, I don't want to be part of a community of people that want to follow Kim Kardashian news on CNN. So I pulled away from the news, right? I mean, that type of isolationism. They want to create an environment so that we're more susceptible, we're more absorbent to the stuff that they're trying to subject us to. So if I want to teach and actually live a life of individualism to where I cannot be compromised, you can't tell me what's right or wrong. I already know it. It's intrinsic. That's a method of resistance, isn't it?
It is a method of resistance, absolutely, but it will also more likely draw attention to yourself, and you could become a target.
Okay, and at that point, they would increase the intensity level to try to penetrate. Then, right? Is that what you're saying?
That's right. They could employ organized intimidation, stalking, which involves small amounts of vandalism. Or they could tamper with your computers. I mean, they have full control, electronic control. They could make it sure you could never open your garage door or your car if they wanted to. Assuming you had electronic lock. It's quite impressive what they can do to control an individual just using information alone. And we human beings, or all animals, we get our sense of reality from the sample points that we have. So if television and news is all controlled, just like it is in China or Russia, we're only going to care about or believe what we see on the 4 major news channels. Mm-hmm. And that's it's called a Skinner box, that you can create someone's reality if you put them in a box and you don't let them see the bigger picture.
Right. Which is also one of the biggest dangers behind U.S. Ignite, when the media like Comcast and Time Warner merge, and there's only a select few individuals that are not individual corporations that control the media over this internet system. It's a very dangerous thing, because they could create any environment they want. They could just fabricate anything that we would accept, right?
They could, and that is a danger. It is why we have antitrust laws in this country. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't seem like we abide by them too much. I mean, we broke up the Bells. You work for South Bell, but the banks seem to keep merging into bigger and bigger banks, too big to fail, and eventually, telecommunication too big to change or fail, and that really, communication is where it's at. If you can control communication, you control people's belief systems, you control who wins in a democracy. You run the democracy, and it's a perpetual cycle.
Yes, sir. Now, President Obama actually signed an executive order. Obviously, government is very actively involved in getting legislation passed to pave the way towards this technological revolution of mind control. But President Obama signed this executive order to explore mind mapping. What do you know
Which
about?
George Bush did too. George Bush had the decade of the brain, or something to that effect.
Okay.
So they've been throwing a lot of money into mapping the human mind, which they often call the menome, which is a mimetic term. It means of all the possible ideas that can flow through human brains, map them out, see which ones people have. Yeah, it's a very dangerous thing in terms of autonomy, of free will, and these ideas. Now we may have to get rid of them. There is no privacy. We're going to be one hive mind. Maybe that will be better. I personally don't know. But I think we need a discussion before we go that direction.
Yeah. Now, do you think, and I see it this way, that the technology exists? You already know that. You have exposure to stuff that you can't even speak of, and it's much worse than we can even fathom. Do you think that it's part of the getting us to socially accept these technological advances, that it's okay to have these advancements in technology and knowledge of the brain? Do you think it's more along those lines? Because they've already experimented with the technology. They don't need an executive order, do they?
Yeah, I think it would still shock too many people. I mean, it would turn Western civilization on its head if all of a sudden we didn't have free will. Well, religion would be demolished. If we didn't have free will, that means you're not responsible for your actions. That means crime and punishment would have to go away, or our legal system completely overturned. It's such a radical paradigm shift that they can't just roll it out and say, oh, look at what we have. Plus, all along, we've been torturing and killing people silently using this. They can't admit that. They absolutely can't admit that.
You know, they can change the social order. So when they perform a mind control task upon an individual, they want to get them to go out and kill a whole bunch of people. It might be for the grander scheme of disarming a population, right? To create a propaganda scenario that says, look on CNN, look at all these dead babies. We need to take arms out of everyone's homes.
Exactly. It's just a reactionary ploy.
Right. Okay. Now, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think there seems to be a lot of television programs out and movies coming out. I'm working on one, too. I have a movie script called The Enemy Within Psychic Warfare. And it seems like they're coming out faster to get the population used to these sort of pseudo-science fiction ideas. So I think they are trying to desensitize the newer generation that this is coming.
Yes, sir. All right. Now, I have one. We have just a few more moments left, and thank you so much for allowing us to talk for an hour, because I knew exactly where this conversation was going to go. We needed at least an hour, and I'd like to invite you back whenever you'd like to come back. Absolutely. Now, is there a central hub, or is this a decentralized program? For instance, is the NSA the culprit that's just archiving and databasing everything? If we were to try to, perform an uprising and cut off the money flow to any particular entity, right? I mean, I want to read that far. I mean, if we cut off money and electricity and water to the NSA, that would have an impact, obviously.
Yeah, it would have an impact, but it is decentralized, and the only information I have was a Professor B.F. Skinner at Harvard. He said to one of our classes before he died that the CIA has a database of personalities in Colorado. It's the only information I have.
And what was your professor's name?
B.F. Skinner.
The B.F. Skinner?
He's a behavioral psychologist, famous psychologist.
Very, very familiar with the name. The next question I have for you, sir, there is a technique called neuro-linguistic programming.
Yes.
The methods of speech that are used upon us, even in an auditory sense on radio. There's this hypnotic group of individuals that are out there, and you can tell they're employing these NLP techniques. This is a very dangerous. It's not even a technology. A very dangerous method. You know of it. It exists, correct?
It absolutely does exist, and it's why advertising even works. So it not only does it exist, it's been militarized.
Yeah.
And this is part of the psychological operations warfare.
Sure, we're going
before you cut me off here.
I'm sorry.
I just wanted to give a warning to the intelligence agencies.
Can you stay with me? Can you stay with me? Because we're going to wrap up. Can you stay with me for one short segment?
Sure.
Yeah, please.
Okay.
I'm with Dr. Robert Duncan, and there's so much to talk to him about. Yes, I had to interrupt, but we'll be back to wrap up right after this.
Welcome to a real minute of information with Life Change Tea. Thousands and thousands of people are fighting flus, colds, viruses, and such, and are losing valuable time at work or just plain old feeling lousy. Did you know that just 2 8-ounce glasses of Life Change Tea can help you with flu, colds, and viruses? In fact, Life Change Tea helps with more than just flus and colds. Life Change Tea helps fight cholesterol, blood pressure, constipation, colon buildup, liver problems, and much more. Just drink 2 8-ounce glasses a day and feel the difference. Many people reorder this product every single month. The cost is about $1 a day. No gimmicks, just results. So order today. Log on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Or you can call us at 928-308-0408. That's 928-308-0408. And just so you know, one of Life Change Tea's side effects is losing weight. Health is important. Don't procrastinate. Order today at getthetea.com.
With email, Skype, Facebook, Twitter, and cell phones, we're more connected than ever before. But there are huge privacy and security problems with all of them. Things are being blocked where they're needed most, where people are fighting for their beliefs. Now, wouldn't it be nice if there was a way to replace Skype, Facebook, email, and messaging with something more secure so you can communicate freely? Ready to change the world? Introducing Unseen, the first free, secure, and private communication platform. Secure chat, secure messaging, secure content delivery, like nothing else. Unseen gives you the key to freedom. You have the power to change the world. Sign up now for free to give freedom.
Aloha, this is Tahiti Joe, the maker of Tahiti Joe's Hot Sauces and the Maui Pepper Company.
The saga of Tahiti Joe's hot sauces is a very tasty story. Tahiti Joe went exploring the South Seas for the spices and was easily sidetracked, but don't tell his lady.
Then, after a few months, Tahiti Joe blended a beautiful array of spices with clam juice and honey.
It had a sweet tropical flavor, and with the heat of the peppers, it reminded him of the islands.
Tahiti Joe had to name the new sauce, and Tahiti Joe's Hot Sauces was born. Try it as a chicken wing sauce.
Barbecue, marinade,
or use it to create a delicious Polynesian Mary.
So, visit www.tahitijoeshhotsauces.com today to satisfy your cravings for
tropical taste sensation.
www.tahitijoeshhotsauces.com.
If you enjoy the outdoor life or are preparing for any type of emergency, then you will need the world-renowned Kelly Kettle. The Kelly Kettle is an outdoor camp stove and kettle used to boil water ultra fast. The Kelly Kettle is the original water boiling kettle that works ultra fast using only sticks and twigs or whatever else you find that will burn. Don't waste your precious resources on heavy batteries and fuels. For over 100 years, this unique kettle has made boiling water in the outdoors quick and easy, even in the most extreme weather conditions. Whether you are cooking or boiling, you will appreciate the compact, lightweight design, super reliability, and a rugged durability that will last a lifetime. If your life depended on the features of an outdoor pro at a casual camper price, you would go to www.kellykettleusa.com. Enter Pete10 for 10% off whichever Kelly Kettle size fits you or your family best.
Listening to a live broadcast on the Guerrilla Media Network. To speak with the host from a landline, call 218-862-9829. Phone lines are open now, and we never screen calls. Your opinion and thoughts matter, so call now, 218-862-9829.
You've looked high and low. You think you've tried it all, and you still have yet to say, wow, I love how I'm feeling now.